Hello children, welcome to AIMS India's online classes. This is biology session. You are watching chemical coordination in animals part 3. So in this video especially we are going to study about pituitary gland and its importance. Okay, see here this image showing how pituitary gland influence the other tissues, organs, glands. Okay, so this pituitary gland is a small, it is a small pea-shaped 1.5 grams gland hanging from the base of the brain. Okay, so it forms a link between nervous system and the endocrine system. Okay, it influences almost all the endocrine glands of the body, so it is also referred to as master gland. Okay, so posterior pituitary actually an outgrowth of the hypothalamus. It is an outgrowth of hypothalamus. A pituitary gland in human consists of 3 lobes actually, that is the anterior lobe and posterior lobe and intermediate lobe and posterior lobe. Okay, which secretes different types of hormones. See here the anterior lobe, it is influencing the skin. Melanocyte stimulating hormone is the hormone produced by anterior lobe of pituitary which influences the skin. It influences the adrenal secretion, adrenocorticotropic hormone. It influences the thyroid gland, thyroid stimulating hormone produced by anterior pituitary. And it influences the bones and muscles. Okay, and it also influences the gonads, the follicle stimulating hormone, the gonadotropic hormones, that is LHS and SHH. Okay, LH means luteinizing hormone and FSH means follicle stimulating hormone. These two influence the testis and ovary. The posterior pituitary influencing the kidney, antidiuretic hormone vasopressin. Okay, and the posterior pituitary is oxytocin and prolactin influence the secretion of milk, lactation. Okay, so like that pituitary gland plays a very important role in the endocrine system. Okay, it has got the top place in the endocrine system. So let us study more about this endocrine gland, pituitary. Are you ready children? Let us proceed. The chemical coordination in animals about pituitary gland. The pituitary gland is located in a bony cavity called sella turcica and is attached to the hypothalamus by a stalk, pineal stalk that is called. Okay, it is anatomically divided into two parts, that is adenohypophysis and neurohypophysis. The adenohypophysis consists of two portions, pars distalis and pars intermedia. So you can see the diagram here. The adenohypophysis means anterior pituitary. It's consisting of two parts, that is pars distalis. It is also called anterior pituitary. Okay, pars distalis and pars intermedia. These two are the parts of adenohypophysis. The pars distalis region of pituitary, commonly called as anterior pituitary, it produces different hormones, that is growth hormone, prolactin, thyroid stimulating hormone, adrenocorticotropic hormone, and luteinizing hormone, and follicle stimulating hormone. Okay, so to remember, short form is given in the bracket: GH, prolactin, PRL, thyroid stimulating hormone, TSH, adrenocorticotropic hormone, ACTH, luteinizing hormone, LH, follicle stimulating hormone, FSH. Okay, this is the anterior part of the pituitary. So this pituitary gland, with the help of pituitary stalk, it attached to the hypothalamus beneath the brain. It is a pea head size. Okay, gland 1.5 grams its weight is. Okay, approximately. Now the anterior lobe of pituitary, 6 hormones are produced, that is somatotropic hormone or growth hormone, thyroid stimulating hormone, adrenocorticotropic hormone, and what are the other hormones? Follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone and prolactin. These are the 6 hormones produced by anterior pituitary. Next, come to the pars intermedia. The pars intermedia is it secretes only one hormone, that is melanocyte stimulating hormone. Melanocyte stimulating hormone, MSH. Okay, however, in human beings the pars intermedia is almost merged with pars distalis. Okay, especially in human beings it get merged with the pars intermedia, get mixed with the pars distalis. Okay, the neurohypophysis, the second part, adenohypophysis, it itself called as anterior pituitary. Now neurohypophysis, it is also called pars nervosa. Pars nervosa, it is also known as the posterior pituitary. It is a posterior pituitary. It stores and releases two important hormones called oxytocin and vasopressin. Okay, in the beginning itself we have seen the posterior pituitary influence the kidney and the lactation, the breast. Okay, so oxytocin and vasopressin are the two main hormones produced by, secreted by posterior pituitary. Okay, so which are actually synthesized by the hypothalamus. Okay, this is the hypothalamus. That's why what we have discussed, the posterior pituitary is a kind of extension of hypothalamus. Okay, so they are actually synthesized by the hypothalamus and are transported axonally to the neurohypophysis. So over secretion, and if you see the effects of these secretions of pituitary gland, the first the somatotropic hormone or growth hormone. This hormone stimulates the growth of the body and cell metabolism. Then this over secretion of growth hormone, if you see this growth hormone influence the growth. It stimulates over secretion of growth hormone stimulates abnormal growth of the body, leading to gigantism. Gigantism means overgrowth. And hyposecretion or low secretion of growth hormone results in the stunted growth, dwarfism it is called. Gigantism and dwarfism are the two abnormalities. If in the adolescence age, if the growth hormone is secreted more, then the people grow very tall, more than 6 feet. Okay, so that is the influence of growth hormone. The next prolactin. The prolactin it regulates the growth of mammary glands and the formation of milk in the, okay, after childbirth in the women. Next, thyroid stimulating hormone. thyroid stimulating hormone is secreted by the anterior pituitary. Okay, it stimulates the thyroid to produce thyroxine hormone. Its secretion is controlled by thyrotropin releasing factor. Okay, the secretion of thyroid hormones from the thyroid gland is under the influence of thyroid stimulating hormone produced by anterior pituitary. Okay, this hyposecretion of this TSH may causes thyroid atrophy. Okay, malfunctioning of thyroid gland. Next, ACTH, adrenocorticotropic hormone. TSH means thyroid stimulating hormone. ACTH, adrenocorticotropic hormone. It stimulates the synthesis and secretion of the steroid hormones called glucocorticoids and the glucocorticoids from the adrenal cortex. Okay, there are two types of steroid hormones, that is glucocorticoids and mineralocorticoids. Okay, especially the glucocorticoid hormones are under the influence of ACTH. So it stimulates the adrenal cortex to secrete glucocorticoid and mineralocorticoid hormones also. Okay, next, the luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone, these two are steroid hormones. The luteinizing hormone is also called interstitial cell stimulating hormone, ICSH, interstitial cell stimulating hormone. So LH in females stimulates ovulation. So it stimulates gonadal activity, and hence they are also called gonadotropins. Luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone are also called gonadotrophins. Okay, in males, luteinizing hormone stimulates the synthesis and secretion of the hormones called androgens. Okay, from the testis. And in females, the follicle stimulating and androgens regulate the, okay, in males, so these two hormones, follicle stimulating hormone and androgens, regulate the spermatogenesis, production of sperms. Okay, in males it is also called interstitial cell stimulating hormone, ICSH, which is responsible for testosterone secretion also. Okay, that is a male sex hormone. Okay, follicle stimulating hormone, luteinizing hormone and interstitial cell stimulating hormone are called gonadotropins. Their secretion starts from puberty. Puberty means at the age of adolescence. Okay, so these are this is the pituitary gland. Okay, infundibulum, it is the stalk of the pituitary gland. It is also called infundibulum. So this posterior pituitary and the anterior pituitary. Posterior pituitary is also called neurohypophysis, and the anterior pituitary is also called adenohypophysis. Okay, pars distalis and pars intermedia. The pars intermedia is combined in the humans. Okay, let us know more about this pituitary. In females, what is the function of this luteinizing hormone? Luteinizing hormone induces the ovulation of fully mature follicles. They are called Graafian follicles. Okay, and maintains the corpus luteum. Okay, in the menstrual cycle we come across this corpus luteum, ruptured follicle converted into corpus luteum. So this is under the influence of this luteinizing hormone. Okay, the corpus luteum once formed from the remnants of Graafian follicles after ovulation. So the follicle stimulating hormone stimulates the growth and development of ovarian follicles in females. Okay, Next, MSH, melanocytic stimulating hormone. It acts on the melanocytes, melanin containing cells, and regulates the pigmentation of the skin. The next, oxytocin. So this oxytocin hormone, it causes the contraction of the uterus during the, this hormone is secreted in the females only. Oxytocin acts on the smooth muscles of our body and stimulates their contraction. In females especially, it is useful during the childbirth. Okay, and secretion of milk in females. Okay, also influenced by this oxytocin. That's why this oxytocin is also called as birth hormone or milk secreting hormone due to this role. Okay. Next, in females, this oxytocin stimulates a vigorous contraction of uterus at the time of childbirth and milk ejection from the mammary glands. That's why this hormone is also called a birth hormone. Okay. Next, vasopressin. Vasopressin is also called antidiuretic hormone, ADH. So it stimulates, it acts mainly the target organ of vasopressin. Okay, vasopressin target organ is kidneys. It acts on kidneys and stimulates reabsorption of water and sodium, means electrolytes, by the distal convoluted tubules, DCH, distal convoluted tubules, that is the part of nephron, and thereby reduces the loss of water from urine. Okay, that is called, that process is called diuresis. Hence, vasopressin is also called antidiuretic hormone, ADH, antidiuretic hormone. Okay, vasopressin. So the deficiency of this ADH may leads to frequent and copious urination, causing excessive thirst. It is called diabetes insipidus. No glucose is lost in the urine of the patient, but excess of urine is produced. Okay, if vasopressin is produced in large amounts, it produces less urine. If vasopressin is produced in less amount, this reabsorption mechanism is not proper, so that more urine is secreted. Okay, that is a feedback mechanism. So pars tuberalis, the part of pituitary, infundibular stalk or infundibulum, pituitary stalk. Pars nervosa, it is a posterior pituitary. Okay, pars distalis and pars intermediate is the anterior pituitary. Next, the various glands present in our body secretes hormones which are essential for the growth, development and reproduction. So before going to this, the disorders of pituitary, once let us recall. The pituitary gland produces the thyroid stimulating hormone, which stimulates the thyroid gland to produce thyroxine. The thyroid stimulating hormone is controlled by releasing factor known as thyroid stimulating hormone releasing factor, TSH-RF, or thyrotropin releasing factor, produced by the hypothalamus. Okay, actually the pituitary gland is called the master gland. Why? Because as it controls a number of hormones which control other endocrine glands, but it itself is under the ultimate control of the hypothalamus, which on receiving the messages from the brain produces releasing factors or neurosecretions. But there are no clear evidences that the hypothalamus is the master gland. But pituitary gland, as it is influencing the other endocrine glands and other functions, so it is considered as master gland. So disorders in the pituitary activity, hyposecretion of pituitary gland causes dwarfism. Dwarfism means stunted growth. The hyposecretion of growth hormone in childhood leads to slower growth of bones and other body organs. The person remains short, stunted. So it is called dwarfism or pituitary nanism or Medgets. Okay. Diabetes insipidus is another disease due to hyposecretion of ADH or vasopressin. Adeno antidiuretic hormone or vasopressin leads to frequent and copious urination causing excess thirst. It is called diabetes insipidus. No glucose is lost in the urine of the such patients. They can't enjoy the journeys. Okay. Then hypersecretion means if the pituitary hormones are over secreted. Then two important disorders, that is gigantism. Gigantism is due to hypersecretion of growth hormone in childhood, leads to gigantism. These gigants have abnormal height and long bones. And in adults, acromegaly. Acromegaly means hypersecretion of growth hormone after adolescence causes acromegaly, which results in abnormal long bones of lower jaw and limbs, but the body does not attain a giant structure. Only the lower jaw will be protruded, just like gorilla like face. Okay. So this is the pituitary disorders. So various glands are present in our body which secretes hormones which are essential for growth, development and reproduction. So different hormones have different effects on the shape of the body, and the hormones help in body growth, development, metabolism, sexual function, that is reproduction. So what happens to the body when these hormones will release in more or less quantities? Okay, it will lead to several disorders, like the thyroid hormones of thyroid gland basically releases two hormones, that is triiodothyroxine and thyroxine, T4, T3 and T4, which helps in controlling the metabolism of our body. And further, these hormones regulates weight, determines energy levels, internal body temperature, skin, hair, etc. Okay. So that is called the feedback mechanism. Let us briefly discuss this feedback mechanism. What is feedback mechanism? So increase in the blood, for example, increase in the blood glucose levels on eating a carbohydrate rich meal. It stimulates the pancreas to secrete insulin. Okay. What happens? The latter stimulates the target cells to take up the glucose, the liver cells, okay, which is utilized in the cell respiration or is stored as glycogen. Okay, the glucose, excess glucose may be utilized in the cell respiration or it is converted to glycogen in the presence of insulin. So this lowers the blood glucose level to normal. So with the fall in blood glucose level, insulin secretion decreases. So this is called feedback. So this checks the further fall of blood glucose level. In this manner, the insulin maintains the blood glucose. Okay. So what do you call feedback control of hormones helps in homeostasis. Homeostasis means balance, equilibrium. Okay. The feedback control is mostly negative and rarely positive. In a negative feedback control, the synthesis of hormone slows or halts when its level in the blood rises above normal. Whereas in a positive feedback control, an accumulating hormone increases its own production, means the regulation of the secretion of thyroxine is the best example. Okay, the feedback mechanism. So carbohydrate rich materials, when we eat, glucose level rises in the blood, then the pancreas beta cells secrete the insulin, and insulin stimulates the cells to take off glucose. Then the glucose level falls in the blood. Whereas when the glucose level is very low in the blood, then what happens? The alpha cells of the pancreas secretes glucagon hormone, which converts the glycogen into glucose and increase the blood sugar level. So like that, it is the negative feedback control and the positive feedback control. Positive feedback control means which one? Secretion of glucagon. Okay. So not only in the animals, children, in insects also there are some hormones are produced. These hormones play very important role. They are called pheromones. Pheromones are the chemical substances secreted by organisms. These act as chemical signals and are secreted by exocrine glands and released in the external environment. The pheromones are used as signals by the members of some species. For example, under stress, many types of ants, okay, release alarming pheromones. This alarms the fellow ants, remaining ants. Similarly, honeybees secrete the pheromones that attract other bees to the location of food. Okay, so we may get it out how these honeybees communicate each other with the help of these special secretions, pheromones. So another example is the worker bees who lick the pheromone produced by the mandibular glands of the queen bee, so which she spreads over her body. The worker bees transfer the chemical among themselves, so it prevents the maturation of their ovaries, maintaining their sterility, and thus control the size of the colony. So social behavior is there in the insects due to these pheromones. Okay, the control and regulation. What is the main function of these hormones means? Finally, let us conclude by these few words. The functions of the hormones: they control and regulate the metabolic activities. They maintain homeostasis. The control and regulation of the morphogenetic activities means growth, development, and differentiation. And the regulation of mental activities, these hormones. And the control of growth, maturation, and regeneration. And the production of secondary sexual characters and regulation of reproductive activities under the influence of the hormones. The control of the activities of other endocrine glands and causing adaptation to external stimuli. Okay, so this is about the pituitary gland and the influence of some hormones. Okay, hope you understood. Thank you for watching our video. Please subscribe our channel and press the bell icon for receiving latest updates.